So I'm back here today with the STIHL MS180 chainsaw. Today I'm going to be removing the bar and chain, the clutch. I just want to check the oil pump to make sure that it's not full of crud. I just want to make sure that the chain is getting all the oil that it should. I'm going to start by removing the top cover. Next thing, I'm going to remove the bar and chain just by undoing this knob here. When you take the chain cover off, you gotta pop this out of here. So you can turn this clockwise to loosen the chain. Get this off. The next thing you want to get off is this E-clip right here at the end of the clutch shaft. I'm just going to use a flat screwdriver and pry it out. Make sure when you take stuff out that you remember exactly the position that everything is. For example, this little washer here, you would want this part up when you put it back on. Now your clutch drum's going to come off, and your roller bearing. And I've left everything on my bench in the same order that it came out. Now at this point I'm going to remove the spark plug. The reason why I'm removing the spark plug is I'm going to insert a nylon rope inside the cylinder to lock the crankshaft so that I can remove the clutch easily. Once I've got the piston at the bottom and on its way up, I'm going to insert my nylon rope. You don't need too much rope in there because it's a small cylinder. I prefer using nylon rope over the piston stops because it's got more give to it. And I'm going to leave it like that. And don't forget that the clutch is reverse thread, meaning that you have to turn clockwise to undo it. And I've got a 19mm socket. And now the rope should lock in the crankshaft. So it came off pretty easy. And remember that the nut goes facing out. On the other side of the clutch, the nut's pretty well flush with the rest of the clutch, but on the top part, the nut sticks out. So put this back on your countertop in the order that it came out, and you're going to find this washer next to the crankcase, and make sure that you put this back also in the same order that it came out. It does say top on the washer, so if you get confused, it's pretty easy to remember. So now you know how to remove the clutch. While I've got it apart, I'm going to check the oil pump to make sure it's not clogged with dirt. So now that you've got the clutch all off, you're going to see the oil pump worm gear. So take that out. So I'm just going to wipe this out here with a rag. You don't want to get any dirt inside there. So there's the oil pump there, the shaft. Unfortunately, I cannot access it through here. You have to basically remove the whole cylinder assembly out of the crankcase shell. So that's a job for another day. But I can see it looks pretty clean by the oil shaft, so I'm just going to reassemble it now. So to start with, we're just going to put the oiler worm gear right down like this. And here's all my other parts. So this washer here, where it says top, goes on the top. Just insert it over like this. Next is going to be the clutch, and remember it's reverse thread, so you gotta turn it counterclockwise to tighten it up. I've still got the rope in this cylinder, and I'm going to reuse it to tighten up the clutch. It does tighten itself when you're cutting wood because it's reverse thread. The shaft turns clockwise and the threads are counterclockwise, so it's got a tightening effect. One important thing before we put the clutch drum back on is you're going to notice a groove here. Now that groove has to lock in the wire that is connected on the oiler worm gear that we first installed. So if you take a good look down here, you can see the tip of the oiler worm gear wire right straight down there. So now I'm going to put the clutch drum back on and line it up so that the groove goes into the wire. So I've got it in. Next I'm going to put the roller bearing back on. Push it all the way down. Next thing to put on is that washer. And it's got to go deep enough so that the groove for the E-clip is showing. So to put the E-clip back on, get yourself a good wide screwdriver, flat screwdriver. Insert the clip in like that. Watch your fingers that you don't poke yourself with the screwdriver. Keep them out of the way of the direction of the screwdriver. And just push it like that till you hear it clip and it's in. Make sure everything's turning smoothly before you put your chain and bar back on. Always make sure that everything is clean around here. That's the oiler hole. You want to make sure there's no dirt inside there. And that's about it. So now I'm going to put the bar and chain back on. Turn this dial here counterclockwise to tighten up the chain. Just like that. Now you want to put the clutch cover back on. You got to snap it down there. And then turn this knob here. Before I tighten it too much, I'm going to check the tension on the chain. This chain feels a bit too tight, so I'm going to loosen this knob here and adjust it with the knob over here. If you turn clockwise, it tightens the chain. If you go counterclockwise, it loosens the chain. So that feels good. The chain is snug but not too tight, and we're going to leave it like that. Don't forget to remove the rope in the cylinder. Put your plug back on. And the last thing to put on is our cover. And we're all done.